Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think we need to ask a question here. If ISIL is everything that was said by the members who had just finished speaking, if it was a true evil, if it committed unspeakable atrocities, if it committed acts of war, and traffic, and violence, and hate, and fear, and they want to conquer the world, why did the previous government give 600 soldiers and 8 airplanes? What is it? Which is it? If they are indeed this threat to the world, if they are indeed committing this kind of evil, then you're right. Then it demands a greater contribution from Canada. In 2004, 2006, we went into Afghanistan, Mr. Speaker, and we took 2,500 troops. It wasn't a token, Mr. Speaker. It was not a token, Mr. Speaker. We knew that what was happening in Afghanistan was serious, and we stood up to the plate and did something about it. And again, it comes back to that experience. We saw how to make a success out of Afghanistan, and we're suggesting that we move the same way forward here, and that the next phase of this operation is to provide the stability that can contribute to the rebuilding and reconstruction efforts that will follow over time, and we are going to lead that direction towards stability, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Lakeland.
Wow. I just think the member is completely out of touch from the values and the concerns of most Canadians, and I'm not sure whether she's mocking or betraying her own or her government's actual position on the threat that ISIL poses. I hardly know how to reply, except that on this side of the House, we believe, as we've demonstrated, Canada must take the most robust effort that we can in support of our allies in multiple ways, in a combat mission, in providing humanitarian aid, and in assisting refugees to come to Canada. And we know this is a time in which our allies are increasing their combat activities, increasing their military presence in the area. We're saying that Canada should continue to provide that support to the best of our abilities, and that we should continue to do that as our allies have asked. I by no means think that the brave and self-sacrificing efforts of the people of the Canadian Armed Forces is a token, and I'm just shocked that the member would even come close to implying that in this debate.
Questions and comments. The honourable member for Edmonton Strathcona.
Speaker. Well, speaking as well from this side of the House, I think that the opinions of our party are quite different. I'd have to say, Mr. Speaker, that what I find really shocking when I look at the amendment put forward by the member's party is that they wish to remove any engagement by the Government of Canada in improving living conditions of conflict-affected areas, investing significantly in humanitarian aid, engaging more effectively with political leaders in the region, and welcoming tens of thousands of Syrian refugees to Canada. So perhaps the member could explain to this place, on behalf of her party, why it is that they feel that those kinds of activities by Canada in assisting those overseas are not appropriate for the Government of Canada.
In 45 seconds or less, the honourable member for Lakeland.
Of course, we support all of those efforts, and our previous government took that multi-pronged approach to this challenge and to the threat in the region. We believe in a couple of other things, which is also, first and foremost, ensuring the safety and security of Canadians as we welcome refugees to our Canadian family. But this is the key thing for this debate, is what can Canada and should Canada and will Canada do in cooperation with our allies in this important fight to defeat these barbaric extremist terrorists? And, you know, I'm just shocked actually by the hypocrisy of the parties on another part of the spectrum from me who like to go on and on about their tolerance and their beliefs and, you know, the right of people like me to hold office and to advocate on behalf of people I represent and to get elected, and all those other atrocious things that those terrorists are doing to vulnerable and innocent people across the world, and that these other parties would have us withdraw from fighting to defend and to protect those vulnerable innocent people.
Resuming debate, the honourable member for Chilliwack Hope.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And first, I'd like to thank the member for Lakeland for her passion and for her passion for women and girls around the world who are put at risk by groups like ISIL, and for her great speech here in the House today.